Hai, cek susakan ikon yang kita pa video na, dikena singa tao, yan Robibal salukan dikena, terus ABDK Sobha nga, dikena singa tao, sopajok yan na, dikena tao, res kaya tao, singa gelja sab nagdarak ke singa tao ringa, jauh jojol video kan yang na hai. Tinggal bazar Sobha itu ya, Sobha itu program bazar Sobha tau ikut suka jangan ada kenapa kan cakar kok dan saya nak tahu untuk ya kok cakar kok kenapa ya aduan blowing job tahu kan kita ramai tidak ada TikTok bongcok ya tak usah sama deh yang tak sekali orang deh aku ditarik udah cem tahu dikit hari ha boleh tarik banget agram sayang deh aduh tak play agam pun bona berkucing play ada rasa nak pilih ya dijap tak kalah tak play down soknak damanya sih kata bang berarti bang yang jangan daun jamu hijau ya soknak tuh ya Sobha ha ya parking Sobha hijau tapi jamunya kari nanti dan pas gua parking ko yan tingjet dekat saya ya tahu cara itu ya jadi icip membuat deh itu baru nah sudah parking Sobha dan map yang dari kok cederangnya yang parking dulu bisa parking si bike teman nih tahu sih parking under ciri angin jok ya ramah kok di angin jok ya ribet ya handal ciri jok sih tahu Sobha juga tahu ya, kan lihat kok.
Ya, sebab itu tempat rumah Pak Pasien Hani Gemen ikut istiqamah kalau speed English itu yang kuliah. Harus ada secondary level dah Sobha. Ya, tapi Isolni Sobha. Ini dia mandikut istiqamah, antum sudah punya para pakaian itu. Nanti Isol tu macam baksa yang mandeni antum bising tu istiqamah.
And as we are at this concluding session of the 150 years culmination celebration, we remember how God birthed the church here in this part of the world. From ordinary people, an uncle and a nephew, God would use to bring the gospel to you all. Who can despise the day of small beginnings?
Ya, 우리 전에 아버지한테 낙법하고 소화 전지 소화전.
From such a small beginning,
나게 종근 아버지한테
today the Garo Baptist Convention, I was told, has 5.6 lakhs of members.
종근 아버지한테 나로 ABDK bunga pointo lak mandirang beberapa 동아
With some 2,700 congregations. 2,700.
아론게 하자근이 스님왕 몬돌이랑 동아
These are the numbers your president gave me, so I can boldly say the numbers.
아야랑코 angna asmani president akan hanin man umane 진짜
Who can despise the day of small beginnings?
사와는 전에 아버지한테 주석 아니고 남는 게 정도면
The Lord has brought us thus far,
이소 만친 거 야로나 럼바하
and the Lord will continue to lead us on.
아로 그대 만친 거 되게 놀랑구겐
But remember, the 150 as we celebrate is a milestone.
아니바 기스크라고 버시를 차사 소봉하고 많이 아니라 아지나 남매 만찬 기스코 돈나는 거가
When you travel on the road on a journey, you will see a milestone.
젠서로 아시면 아마랑고 송레겐 야 안치니 송레니 바크렌도 킬로미터라고 미송가 롱송이 정도가 동안
What does the milestone teach us?
아로나카파 송에 동금이라가 마이코 미소가
The milestone tells us that we are on the right direction.
아야 송금은 롱랑아라 증아 티 공급을 아몬이 angeri고 미소가
But the milestone also reminds us that the milestone is not the destination, but there are still many more miles to go.
아니베야 바디다 체리 송레 가고 미소가 송금은 롱아라 원은 막속다하 내지 미소되니까 원이 양구단 아니고 미소가
So as we reflect on the 150 years of God's faithfulness,
왜냐면 안생 버시를 차서 소통에 이소니 각해 동안이고 기스코 전시했딩온
the leaders of GBC have come up with this theme from Psalm 126.
ABDK니 들고파랑 기타 넘버 차사 골을까 보니고 야 방착하니고 라하
The Lord has done great things for us.
그대를 안치나 나라랑고 나가하
The Lord has done great things for us.
그대를 안치나 나라랑고 나가하
We must never forget it is the Lord who has done great things for us.
안친 방나버 구안한 angjawa 안치나 야 나라랑고 그대를 사다가하
But you notice that it was mentioned in the past tense.
아니바 기스라고 야거나 맞췄으면 그다사 우노 자나 마찬
And as we move forward into a fresh new phase of life and ministry,
아로르게 안생 야니 그달가빠 장기타니로 남득경내니를 레이먹항용
I want to remind you of this verse that was read to us from Joshua chapter 3.
아치나 보렛그만 조서 오다의 그탐니 포드코항하기 스라트나스까
Remember, the people of God were miraculously delivered from Egypt.
기스그라고 이솔니 만든 아영난 그바 감랑치 이집보 놓고 땅이고 자카데라 따고 마다하
And God brought them through the Red Sea.
아로 이솔만 많고 사각을 찾고나 돌바하
And they were on the verge of entering into the promised land at Kadesh Barnea.
아로만 카데스 바르네아와 구라착문 아손 앞나시야쯤
But because they disobeyed the Lord and would not believe Him, they were made to wander for 40 years in the wilderness.
아니바 와망 이솔로 가동자니그만 와망 가동착된 와망이 아와니 아셀 와망 바그로 시소 프리나 리로로 나가다와 브라이언 나하
Entire generation passed away.
아르와는 블락 이집은용 칸바그빠 자손이 만든 시나그다 나하
Except Joshua and Caleb.
조슈아 아로 칼렙 나그레
And a whole new generation were now coming into the promised land.
아로드게 나우데와 블락랑데 와 구라착문 아손 앞나
But
만든
before they could enter into the promised land,
아로 와망 와 구라착문 아손 앞나스캉
before they could enter into a new phase of fruitfulness in their lives,
와망니 장기타는 비테그낭 장기타니 바꾸나 양나스캉
there was a huge obstacle in front of them.
와망니 막한 날베이그빠 참팽하니 동아쯤
The Jordan River was flooding and flowing mightily.
조단 치비마 와노 치다띵아쯤 아로 그게 다락게 쫓기냐쯤
How do we cross through the Jordan River and enter into the promised land?
야 조단 치비마고 말이게 맞소때 구라 찾으면 아손 앞겐
In that context, the Lord told the Israelites,
와나까봐 오보스타오 그때 이스라엘 남들 나가나
consecrate yourselves,
안탕탕고 롱탈았보
For tomorrow the Lord will do amazing things among you.
Mayna knalo gedel na simang isko dalar ako daknasinga.
When we looked at the past 150 years, we proclaim thankfully, joyfully today that the Lord has done great things for us.
Balsi ritsa sa sud mga badeng kun ya kensi mo dan sindalo mathem prani mo khasroke jiopan sina dalar ko dakhane akana man gen.
That was for the past.
Wara maksud kaman.
But as you look into the future,
Ani ba mukhang chini kaman ya kensi mo de.
the Lord is saying that He will do amazing things for you in the future.
Gedel agania mukhang si na simana dalarang ko daken.
Whether it's in your own personal life,
Wana simana amphang ni jangi thang na bagadang.
or in your family life,
Hasimani nokdang ni jangi thang na bagadang.
or in your social life,
Hasimani songsaro jangi thang na
or in
bagadang.
your church life,
Hasimani mondoli jangi thang na
the
bagadang.
Lord wants to remind us today that He is going to do amazing things among us.
Gedel ansina dalu yaku kistratas ka wansina dalarang ko dakna singa.
But remember, all of God's promises comes with a condition.
Ani ba kisra ko plan isoni dalar kura sakani rangara.
And what is the condition here?
Ar isoni onggemen rangara maya.
That we must consecrate ourselves to Him.
Wan ansina thang thang ko una rongthal lakna kedanang gen.
What do we mean by consecrate?
Ya rongthal lakna non mai ko muksuan.
Consecrate means to devote and dedicate ourselves to God.
Wan rongthala tane gani on ansa tano iso ko ulakina ar iso lantar ko on khanga ni ko muksunga
For His purposes.
uni ko muksunga ni rangna
And on this very last day of this conference,
yang suni thongmani bonkhang ko basalo
I want to briefly talk to you about crossing the Jordan.
anga nasimana ya Jordan si ko baksot tani ba kana skiya
I want to talk about the amazing things God has in store for you and me.
anga nasimangna rangnarongna isoni dalah dumsone ma kana skiya
But to remember what God has for us today, I want to place before you 5 terms or 5 themes just to remember for us.
andi ba ya isoni dalah bakse lakna mani ko kani wana nasimana mungbunga katrang ko mungbunga sansini ko na skiya
How did they cross the Jordan River and enter into a new great blessing? 5 important principles, 5 important themes we can learn from Joshua chapter 3 to 5.
Wamang marke Jordan chiko bakso tange wa kurachakane asunga sopanga wani mana juso dai ka thamne udai pwani ko mungbunga kisra tange ko nata skenga
I would say in English, which you can very easily remember, number 1 is concentrate.
nasimang English kata jide kisra na mangena utwai once ka concentrate wa deng niatani
Number 1 is to focus upon something the Lord is telling us today.
once kang pa iso achna man ko kani ko deng muksoi niatani
Joshua brought all his people, hundreds of thousands of people, and they were camped near the Jordan River that was flowing to its full capacity.
Joshua thani mandirang ko sa hazal mandirang ko wa joksho king pa Jordan chinir kamona rumbaha
For 3 days they were camped there.
salgit thamna mamon wanon athutta kaha
For 3 days they were looking at this impossible scenario.
salgit thamna wa mang ya nam gizako ni dongia chen
And after 3 days, Joshua sent the officers throughout the camp.
arnike salgit thamni jamana Joshua dalga prangko wa athut thamna wakta kaha
And the officers told the people, they said that when you see the priest carrying the Ark of the Covenant go before you, you need to follow the Ark of the Covenant.
onon ya Joshua ni watat ka ba dalga prang mandir na kana nasimang khamau rangni wa nyam sunduko di thumai ya ko gon nasimang mako jarik na nga
And remember, the Ark of the Covenant was a requirement God gave to His people.
nasimang iskrama ya nyam sundukara isoni amthani mandira na onggaman wacham
It's a beautiful big box.
one nito bigpa box nga
And 2 cherubims with their wings.
Thampa saksak sa baklumi kabon roko
Number 4, commemorate your faith and transfer it to the next generation.
aga bring pau beberani ji ongan rangko bisikrabo arko ribaina chasungna nagi donangon roko
And number 5
aro bongkhan ko pa
is
ema ko pa
celebrate.
one khatsai maniani
Celebrate.
khatsai maniani
What do we celebrate?
acha mai ko manigan mai ko
When you
khatsai
come to the end of the 5th chapter,
jen salo amchen ya odai kwani bongkhan ko pani ba
now they have crossed the Jordan,
kalau amang Jordan ko paksot
they
manaha
have come into Canaan,
Aru khana nungka sokpaha.
And there they celebrate the Passover.
Aru wanu wamang watsangani alani ko maniha.
You know what Passover is?
Ya watsangani alani gubara mayo
That God, through a mighty act, He would deliver His people out of the clutches of Egypt.
Jen salo isol ya Egypt no kodatani ko andani mamdera par mukatakam ka.
And they were celebrating what
이걸 자족 맞네 더. 카톡 방족. 나오글 좀 쳤죠. 카톡 방족.
ये सप्तानी और अजीत को मस्वाहा मिस्टर वॉलेस दी शर्मा नान अपनी ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस को घुमाता है या कोई चुनी ऑफिसर को ना era मध्यम जिन पुलिस सत्तानी को
चल बने किने चल बने के
बोलो बच्चे Leka di jam mai khas ni ringrok. Ri peng ha chang nok chi. Ya gari jam ya. Mai khas ni na kana ya ha. Chinan jol ge mak jam ya. Oh, jam ya ha. Di ba bike ti jok ya sam khori im na. Oi nu damsa jam mong theng ha. Bike ya sam khori na jok ya. Jol ge mak cha. Jol ge mak cha mong theng jok. Waleng jok sobat yang ada usaha nuk sih ya, sok ada sok bayang ha. Oh, gak sini flak walang ya ha. Syurio nenga nak persis nenga, syurio nana gimana? Balu bas nenga ha. Apa yang dikena sobat? Oh, kuna sobat sih ya, sobat jok kuna yang room thang sukajok. Kemudian stan video ini so yang pas sekali kon betela ya video ko cak cak jani na sekali kon. Bye bye.